Yeah, so today we're gonna capture the main part um, of the admin, which is how to create object, and then in the object how to create fields, which is again core aspect. And because fields has a lot of data types, so we will be discussing them today. And yeah, let's start. So right now, so far you guys have learned few things from the home, and you were able to navigate, create user, how the profiles works in Salesforce, how permission set works in Salesforce. So you guys have that basic idea. Now today we're gonna go ahead and learn something from inside Object Manager. So the main thing which you guys will be seeing here is the objects. In some of the language, we call them as a table in the database where the data will be there. Similarly, when it comes to Salesforce, to store data, we will be using the object, and that object configuration, or you can say the designing will be done from the object manager. And having said that, uh, there are two type of object in Salesforce. Okay, let me go ahead and open Notepad plus plus plus, and so object. Okay, so as I said, there are two types of objects. So first is standard object. Okay, second is custom object. So these two type of object are specifically there in Salesforce. When we say standard object, it is created by default, or you can say it is created by Salesforce. Okay, as simple as that. It is created by Salesforce in org by default. Okay, so that's first point. Second point is it's API. Okay, I'll tell you guys what exactly is API name. It's yeah, its API name does not have underscore C. Okay, that's the second point, which is which we have to keep in mind. Okay, to identify about the custom object. Okay, and the standard object. So this difference I'm gonna tell you guys, and this is how you can use it to understand which is custom object and which is the standard object. Second is it is created by us. Okay, or you can say admin. Okay, the custom object is created by us, which means the admin. Okay, and it will have API name appended with the underscore C. Its API name get appended by underscore C at the end of the name. Okay, at the end of the API name. Okay, that's the difference. You guys, that's how you can recognize whether it is a custom object or a standard object. Now, going ahead with the practical exercise, you guys can see here account API name is this, but it does not have underscore C, and the type is standard object. Okay, so these are the standard object. Now, since it is a fresh new org, so there will be no custom object. Okay, so every object will have the API name without underscore C, and the type is standard object. Okay, so now we will jump on to custom object. So you guys have an option to create it from here. Okay, you guys will select the custom object from here. So before creating custom object, let's decide what for what we're gonna create the object. An object will be an entity which will store the data. Okay, so you are not going to say name is not a custom object, because name is a attribute under something. Okay, some you can say library. Phone number is not object. Email is not an object. These are attributes. Okay, because there could be 10 employees which can have phone number and email. So employee can be an object. So it's like a bigger entity. Okay, which you guys have to think out of the box. Okay, so bigger entities will be having the phone, emails, and that bigger entity will be considered as an object in Salesforce. Okay, so as I said, other programming language, table. So table will have records. So table name should be something, which will hold multiple records, not like, um, you can say, as I said, give you an example, right? Email phone cannot be an object or it cannot be a table. Okay. It could be, if there are, let's suppose, phone directory application you are going to create. Okay. So obviously in phone directory, or there will be always phone numbers, right? Phone number, and then, so phone can be an object. So it's perfectly depend upon the, use cases, and you can say the application which we are building. But having said that, you should be having a mindset that object will hold more than one record. Okay. So now we will be planning to create an application, and you can say that, for a university application. Okay. So in university students, okay, it would be an object. So it is an example. If you see account, okay, so we are removing S from here. It should be singular. Similarly, plural name should be here. Okay, with S. The object name will be auto populated. You don't need to populate that. Okay, that's one thing. So these are the key things which you have to keep in mind. Wherever you see red, it means you have to fill it. Okay, it's mandatory. Okay, coming down, description, you don't need to fill right now. Okay, you don't want any, visual force page. For now, you guys can ignore this. Okay, and you don't need to consider about these two checkbox. Let it be first checkbox, pick up by default, so that you can have, whenever help is required, so you guys can, look forward with that for a particular object. But it does not have any as such use cases for your guys learning and for the basic perspective. Next is entire record name and label with the format. So whenever you will be creating the record, initially there will be one field called student name by default. It will be given by Salesforce once you create a custom object also. So for now, let's give a student name, because we're going to store student name in the data type as text. Okay, so data type is something which will be defining the type of field, basically. So if it is a text field, you can store a name in it, right? If it is going to be a number, let's suppose student roll number. So it's going to be a number, right? Which will be auto increasing. Okay. So if it is auto number, which will be auto increasing, like today, university goes first student, right? So it will be 0001. Then tomorrow next will come, it should be 0002. So it should auto increment. So that's what auto number means. So this two data types you have already learned till now. Text, auto number. Okay. So right now, if you want to create text, it would be simple text field with the student name. If you want to create a auto number field, you select this, and student, it's not now, it's not name, right? It would be student roll number. So label you should be giving in such a way that we can understand it easily. Okay. Now display format. If you are giving auto number, then there should be a display format. An example is this. So it's simple that you copy it from here. Okay. You copy it from here, paste it here. And as a best practice, always the letter which is A right now here. So it's student, right? It means S. Object's first letter given as it is here. If the object would have been, you can say for university, there could be a library. So L will be here. You can say management. So M will be here. Apart from that, sports activity. Okay, there could be an object sports activity. The name will be SA, sports activity. So it would be first letter of sport, activities ka first letter. So similarly, you can give the name in that format. These four characters tells you that you can store 9,999 records in this object. So you should be increasing it. You want to store more records. Let's suppose you know that there could be more students. So increase the number of zeros and give the starting number as 1. You want to start it from 1. So that's how the auto number field work. So this is the second as I told you guys have so far learned two data types. So this is one auto number. So this is how you have to give the format plus the starting number. Text field mein, you don't need to give any, data. It's just a text. Next thing comes the optional features. For this object, do you want to build any report? You can check this box. We will learn these things eventually in the next sessions. So for reporting purpose, you can use this checkbox. For activities, if you want to track the activities of the student, you can use this. So how you guys will be tracking it, I'll teach you guys in next sessions. Track field history, which means any field which is changed on your object, you want to track that. Reason being, let's suppose one student is paying 1 lakh fees. Now, okay, the same student's fees needs to be revised. Okay, but Lava updated that field with something which should not be, right? Then tomorrow management come and trying to see, okay, the fees is changed, but who changed that field? There's no track. So for such thing, you have to use track field history. Okay. Allow chatter group, which means if one student want to chat with the other student, they can use a chatter group inside Salesforce. So that's how chatter group works. We'll see it later point of time. Object classification allows sharing, which means you can share one record with another user, one record of the student with another, department, or you can say other, you can say library. So library user want to see the student records, so you can share that record. So these things for now you don't need to consider it, but that's how the sharing works. Next is status of deployment. Once you create the object, it should be deployed, which means it should be available to be visible by everyone. So that's the reason you will be considering as deployed. Allow search. It means this student record should be searchable. So if you see this on the top, this is search. So here, if you are trying to search a student, it should be searchable. That's how this feature help you guys. So every checkbox has its own spatial character sketches. Okay. And that's how it's work. Next, last, add notes. So you want to collect some notes for a student, you can use this. You want to attach some attachments, you can use this. Second is tab. This is important. Okay, this checkbox. An object, if you want to see it in an application, you should have a tab for it. I repeat, an object to be visible in an application, it should be present inside the tab. That's the reason you have to create tab for it. Okay. So I'm checking this box because I want this student object to be visible in my applications. So far, any question? We have discussed so many attributes on this page. I know you guys will not get it in one shot. Go through the video again 2 times to know basics about this. But as a basic person, you guys have to just focus on name, plural name. This is important based on your requirement. You want a auto number field or just a text field. The first field, which is a name field. And the next thing is you have to make sure deployed and then tab. That's it. So 5 things you have to consider on this page, which is important. And remember, names, data type of the field, should be deployed, and tab. That's it. All things are optional for now. So now I click on save. As soon as I click save, the launch new tab custom object wizard will open to create a tab. Object is a student. Okay. I have to give a tab style. So I have to click on that and I can select any tab style. So it would be just an icon available for that. Okay, so let's suppose I click this and click next. Now I'm creating a tab for my object. So yesterday in the session, I've shown you guys tab permissions. Okay, that is it right now. You are creating a tab. So obviously you have to give permissions, right? So step 2 says add to profile. Okay, it means these profile will be able to see the tab, and that's was default on. Default on permission means everybody can see it. Okay, so I'm not talking about tab permissions. So just focus for 5 minutes. So tab permissions are of 3 types. One is default on. It means it will be visible to everyone. Default off, I will come back later. Tab hidden means it will be hidden. So nobody will be able to see the tab for this object. It means the object will not be visible under application. Default on, object will be visible for an application with the tab. Default off means it will not be visible on application until unless you add it. So you have to manually add that particular tab on the application. And I'll show you guys how. Okay. So let's suppose I make it as default off. You guys see every profile have got default off. It means every profile user has to log in and manually add this tab to the application. But if it was default on, it will be normally visible for everybody. Okay. So default on is clear, tab hid isn't clear because everybody get confused in default off. So I'll show you guys how it works. Okay. So far, any question, guys? I'll take it as no for now. I click on next. So it's now comes add to an custom application. So the tab which you are creating, if you want to add it to an application, you will be selecting this. If not, like me, I don't want it to be added in these existing application given by Salesforce. I want to create my own application and I click on save. So right now it will not be added to any application. Okay. See, object is created. It has an API name __ C. As I told you guys, custom object. Okay. You guys can edit any property whenever needed. You can delete it at any point of time. Okay. Now, next thing is fields and relationship. Okay, which I told you guys, right? Fields are the important part. So Salesforce by default provide 4 fields for now, which you can see here in the object manager. Okay, created by, it last modified by owner, student roll number. Remember, we created this field as an auto number. Yeah. Now, so far you guys have seen backend. Okay, where we have designed it. Okay, now this is the next thing, front end. Okay, where you can see the stuffs which you guys are designing. Right now you have created a tab with an you have created an object with the tab. So how can you see it? Remember, I didn't add it to any application. So apps will be visible here. So this is called app launcher basically. In this app launcher you can see the applications as well as your tabs. So I've created the student, right? I'll type as student. See, application is, there is no application, but items are nothing but the tabs. There is a item, students, because we created a tab. That's the reason it is visible here. If you guys will not create tab, it won't be visible here. See, now student tab is open. This was the logo which we gave. Okay. Right now the app is sales. So this is the default app given by Salesforce. Okay, for your profile. So right now it is available, but if you guys close it, okay, these are called tabs basically, home, opportunity, these are tabs. And if I click on more, I don't see student at all here because reason being I have made it as default off. So now in order to make it visible for this app, you have to click on this pencil icon, so which means you are manually adding it. Add more items. Okay, come here, click on all, you search for student, you click on plus icon, you click on add one nav item. So it means you are adding one navigation item. You can even change the position. Okay, let's suppose you're gonna move it little up after before account. I click save. Now wherever I was having account, just a bit, front of it we have student. So that's how you can add a default off tab on your app. Okay, so now if you go to student, okay, this is recently viewed, so it means you have not viewed any record so far. To make it all, there's no record, 0 records. So you use the new button to create a record. Okay, here student roll number. Okay, it's a auto number field. It means you cannot edit that. You click on save. One record for the student is created with serial number 00001. Okay. So this is how you create the record in Salesforce under that object. Okay. And if you want to edit it again, you can use edit. If you want to delete it, you can use delete. Simple. So this is how the object is created. So that's the basic stuff about object creation. Now comes the field, which are important, right? Because right now you only see here 1, 2, 3, 4 standard fields, right? Which you guys were seeing. Okay. So now you guys are at front end. Okay. Now you guys have to go back end. How you guys can go to the back end? There is a setting icon. Okay. And then you click on setup. Now you will come back to the back end. That's how you can switch between front end and back end. App launcher will help you to go to front end. Okay. This app launcher, by clicking here, you can go to front end. And when it comes to the back end, you guys have to click on the setting icon and setup. Okay. That's how you can switch it. So now you again have to go to object manager. You search for your object. Okay. You get your object, you click on it. Okay. You click on fields and relationship. Okay. You come here, you see your 4 fields. Now you have to create more field. You have to use new button. So as I told you guys, auto number, you guys have already seen. Okay. So this is clear. Okay. Next, formula field. We will not learn it today because this is little complex. Lookup relationship, master detail, we will not learn today. This other two are also complex. We will learn them tomorrow. Once you are good with these, external lookup, we don't use it, so we will not learn about this. We will not waste time in something which is not being used so far, and you guys will not be using it. Next is checkbox. Okay, from here we will start learning. Okay, so when it comes to checkbox, let me start. I will select it. So checkbox is nothing but tick field, tick and untick. So let me show you guys how it works basically. So I've checked that radio button. I clicked on next. It will ask for the name, and you have to give the name of the field which should appear. Okay. So for checkbox, so now in a student object, what could be checkbox? We have to think and give it. Okay. So in this case, active is is active, question mark. This will tell, is the student active in the university or not? Okay. So that's how checkbox works. Okay. Right now by default it's unchecked, or you can say it's checked. Anything you can give by default, which means active. It will by default say as checked. Field name will auto populate. Okay. You don't need to do anything here. You just put here, this will auto populate, and then next. Forget about the below checkbox for now. Now field permissions. As I told you guys, everything happens or visible with the help of permission in Salesforce. Remember, you guys are having system admin profile. You have given visible permission. Okay. That's the reason it is visible to you guys. There is a stick. The screen is stuck. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Am I audible? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. So what I was saying is the student we are creating a field checkbox is active. Now comes the permission. System admin, since it should be visible to system admin, that's the reason it is checked. Now there is another checkbox, read only, which means if you want that one of the profiles should not be able to edit that field, you have to check this. Okay, with this, the other profile will not be able to edit that field. Okay, that's the one thing. If you check this, it means this profile will not be able to edit it. When I say this profile, it means this profile will be assigned to a user. That user will not be able to edit that field. Okay, so that's the case. So if both checkbox are true, remember this thing, okay? This is very important thing. In whenever you guys will be working, this thing will come in, your various, whenever you will be creating a new field, this sequence may come. If both checkbox are true, remember this. If both checkbox are true, it's a read only. If this checkbox is false, this checkbox, if you see, I'm checking it, it automatically get checked because it's going to be read only. Okay. And if this only checkbox is true, it is editable. Got it? If both are true, it means read only. If this single is true, it means readable as well as editable. Okay. So that's the case. Now I'll click on next. It will ask, do you want to add this field on page layout? Page layout is nothing but this layout. Okay, the one which you are seeing this. So this is a layout which is helping to add the field. Okay, so I'll just take it as yes, I want to add this to this layout. Save. Okay, then one field is created as a type of checkbox. So this is the field __ C custom field. It does not have any _ C. It means these are standard field given by Salesforce. Now, if you come back, you refresh this page, you should be able to see that field again. Okay. If you see, you got this checked. Right now it's unchecked. You click on this pencil icon, you can edit it, and you can say this checked and then save. So this student is active. So that's how a project grows. So you guys can relate it with a form, right? You guys are filling a form for a student and saying that is it a active or not an active student? Okay. Now, so this is one you guys have learned about the checkbox. Similarly, you go for again new to create more fields. Okay. Currency, if you want to store the student fees, go for it. Okay. So let me show you guys this as well next. So this will ask for label. So I can say fee. Okay. Now the length. When it comes to length, it means how many characters you can store in this field. So 18 character I can store. If there could be decimal points, so you can give the decimal as well. In the fees, you can say 550, 500.50, right? 500 rupees and 50 paise. So that's how you can give for 2 decimal places. Okay, so you guys have to give it as 16 because total characters can be 18 only. So that's the reason you have to divide this way, 16,2. Okay, so let's give this required, which means you cannot save a record without filling this field. So for your guys learning, I'll check this. Yes, I want this field to be required. If you want to give a default value for fees, you can give it here. Then every time whenever you will be creating a record, this default value will be stamped. Okay. Let's give it. You should be learning how it works. Then you click on next. Okay. The same permissions. Right now you cannot manage it. The reason being this is a required field means it will always it has to be filled by everyone. That's the reason you cannot manage now visibility. It will be managed by Salesforce because it's a required field. You go to previous screen. If you uncheck this required, you go next. See, you have an option now. You can manage the visibility. That's how the required fields, are default be visible to everyone. Okay. Understood, guys? Any questions so far? I'll make it as required because I want to show you guys how it looks like. Okay. I make it as next, save and next. So save button will not open this form again. Save and next will open this form again. Now I'll go back. I refresh this. Okay. Because this record is already created, it means it's required attribute is not applicable to this. Okay. I've refreshed it once, it won't came. So there is a cache issue. So you guys have to hard refresh from here. Refresh now. Okay, so to hard refresh Salesforce screen, you guys can use that. Okay, see, fees came. Now if you click on pencil icon, see, it's marked as a star red, which means it's a mandatory fee. Now if you want to save it, you have to put something, then only it will be saved. Save. Okay, fees required, and you can say field required are missing. 1 second, let me required field are missing. Fees. So let me paste this. So it's a, if you see, these are called standard error. Okay, this is called standard error given by Salesforce, that required fields are missing. Okay, so which means this particular record, if you are trying to fill the data, it is not letting you to. Okay, it means it has went to a bad record. Okay, so let me cancel it. Let me go back again. Okay, start from the new. Okay, remember I gave the default as 100, so it's showing as 100 by default. If you want to change it, you have to just edit it and then save it. It's created. 9. Want to update it. Okay, let's suppose you want to do it something like that. You save it. You are able to save it. And that's how it works basically. Now next is next derive.